There were some very hazardous swimming conditions, strong currents, also waves 5 to 8 feet reported out here tonight. So just very, very hazardous conditions, and it looks like it was just too strong for those teenage boys that swim across to get back to safety. This is a head-on crash that we're dealing with. Water was coming in on the far side of the dam, on that left side. It was actually snaking its way through a tunnel all the way over here. We have been able to hear from police. They've confirmed that this is a shooting investigation. They said they got the call just shortly after 8 o'clock that inside this car there were 2 people inside the front seats, a 19-year-old female passenger from Muskegon and also a 26-year-old male also from Muskegon. They were inside that car when shots rang out. They will resume looking again tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Meanwhile, the family's pastor says that they're still holding out hope. However, they're beginning to come to terms with the reality that, in all likelihood, Riley is gone. The sheriff went on to say that this is just a very unfortunate event that happens. He says no officer wants to be involved in a shooting like this. No department wants to be involved in an officer-involved shooting like this. He says it's just a very sad and tragic thing that happened. But in his words, that the officer involved in the shooting had no choice because, again, the suspect was approaching him and threatening him with a very large knife.
LA they have demonstrations. New York has demonstrations. Chicago does. Why not Grand Rapids?
So these people are very vocal about what happened in the election and their disapproval of the country electing Donald Trump. They were in favor of Hillary Clinton and what she stood for, and they're in great disapproval of what Donald Trump stands for. The latest is right now, Consumers Energy really has their hands full trying to repair the utility pole that was damaged as a result of the crash. I'm going to step out of the way so you can look. The pole on the right is the one that they just planted into the ground. The one on the left was damaged when the suspect's truck plowed into it, breaking it apart. And police tell us that suspect, after causing this crash, ran away from the scene but was taken into custody shortly after that. I did speak to some people who've lived here for years, and they telling me that this is simply the worst accident that they've ever seen happen in their small, quiet town.
And all of a sudden, bam!
Loudest crash.
It was a big old boom.
That loud sound was the crash of a truck plowing into a car here at the intersection of Heights Ravenna and Main Street around 5 o'clock Tuesday evening.
And this truck just blew by my house. I mean, I could feel the power of the truck just woof. I mean, it just exploded past my house.
The truck split a large chunk off the utility pole, almost knocking it completely down. People who witnessed the crash say they also saw the suspect running away.
Dude ended up jumping out the truck, took off running, almost had him.
You almost caught him?
Almost caught him. He ended up running to the back.
Others went to help the people injured.
Seeing the people crawling out of the car and went around and seeing the other passenger that got ejected.
Michigan State Police say one person was airlifted to the hospital. The other 2 were transported by ambulance. Troopers used canines to track the suspect down following the collision and say that they were taken into custody about an hour later.
Bad accident right here.
Yeah, they're taking this very hard. The mother of the victim, she was in court today so she could have the chance to look at the face of her son's accused killer. And as you mentioned, the family is taking this extremely hard. The mother tells me that Marcus's identical twin brother, Max, says he feels like half of him is now dead.
He's twisted. That's all I can say.
As her mother grieves for her dead son, she's also full of anger at Naoki Bull, the person accused of firing the fatal crossbow shot that killed Marcus Olmsted.
He's a monster. Who else could do this to a sweet, innocent boy? I can't express the anger that I feel inside right now.
The prosecution in this case says the victim had been communicating with a suspect's girlfriend on social media.
And then at some point, the suspect in this case, the defendant in this case, took over her Instagram account in order to communicate with the victim and posed as her in order to get him to come out of the house that night.
Appearing through a TV monitor in a Muskegon courtroom Friday, Bull said he understands his rights and why he's under arrest. His bond was denied.
This was not a random act, and we'll be pursuing a conviction for murdering Marcus Olmsted.
Prosecutors say Bull bought 2 bolts for a crossbow at an ammunition shop and that he admitted to firing a shot at the house. They say the victim was shot in the stomach with a crossbow bolt.
It's the first case I'm aware of that's involved a crossbow being used as a murder weapon, but whether it's unusual or not is really not a factor that we consider. The evidence points to the fact that this was a murder committed by Mr. Bull, and that's what he's charged with.
Meanwhile, a family is left without a loved one as they search for answers to why this happened.
He took his identical twin son, Maxwell Olmsted's other half. He's also got another brother and sister that don't know how to deal right now because of his selfish acts.
Naiku Bull was arrested yesterday afternoon in Grand Rapids by Norton Shores police. They were actually interviewing his girlfriend at the time when Bull walked into the home. Now, prosecutors say that the first-degree murder charge, well, it's on the table, and that carries a sentence of life in prison without parole. A pickup truck jumped over a curb here in the parking lot and then collided into the back of a van which is parked over there at the ATM. Now, you may also be able to see those giant boards over there on this side of the bank building. Well, those are plugging up the hole caused by the truck, which plowed all the way through the bank and out the other side.
It was surreal. It went completely through.
All the way through this Chase Bank off South Division in Wyoming Wednesday afternoon.
The truck came across here at a high rate of speed and apparently hit the van, and somehow it went through the bank, the entire bank.
Police say around 3 o'clock, a pickup truck went off the road, hit a van in the bank's parking lot, sending both of them into the building. The crash was so loud, a business owner across the street said his window shook.
Heard a loud crash, came out to see what was going on, saw the minivan sticking out of one side of the bank, and then the pickup truck sticking out of the other.
People on scene who rushed to help say they were shocked by the powerful crash and the damage it caused. Surveillance cameras from another nearby business actually caught that truck on video just moments before the crash, which ended with witnesses stepping in to help.
It was like a bomb exploded because glass was just falling. As people were trying to help, a couple people helped pull the lady from under the tire. They lifted the front end of the van, they pulled her out.
Police say 6 people were hurt, including 3 inside the van who had non-life-threatening injuries and 2 in the bank who had minor injuries. Police say the driver of the truck was taken to the hospital. His condition isn't known. Last month, 11-year-old Trent Alfeld underwent a complicated heart surgery. Now, he was born with his heart on the right side of his chest, and his heart had a hole and just one valve.
Dun, 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 dun. Hi.
11-year-old Trent Alfeld is all smiles just a month after having a complex and groundbreaking heart surgery.
Are you at home now? You are?
A surgery to repair his heart, something that he's wanted his entire life.
I knew it might help me, so I wanted to get better and do stuff with my friends because I was told that it would help me.
The procedure was possible thanks to cutting-edge medical technology.
Then we had to do something about this hole in the heart, and the hole was closable. I don't think I would have had the courage to do this surgery unless I'd had this type of imaging.
A detailed 3D model showed doctors exactly what that massive hole in his heart looked like and how to fix it.
But because of the model, we were able to instantly say, well, that is operable.
Trent only had one valve and it didn't completely close. The surgery divided that and created 2 valves and 4 functioning chambers.
I haven't seen him for 6 weeks, so it's a great experience to see him sitting and smiling. When I last saw him, he was collapsed.
Can I get a hug?
His remarkable turnaround, a great experience for physicians and family.
His appetite had increased tremendously. He's starting to gain weight. He's now finally up and moving. I know his legs took a pretty big hit being down for the 3 weeks, but he's doing good.
And young Trent realizes how his heart surgery can help others like him.
I think I'm like a helpful person, so like a lifesaver. Can save other lives now for our kids.
I think so.
Help doctors.
And you did just that.
Just with this one special heart.
A very special young man. Trent still has a lengthy recovery. Some amazing stuff, Doug. Halloween Heroes is for special needs kids. Now, the idea is to create some incredible costumes that go around the wheelchairs. More than 70 volunteers are going all out to lavishly decorate wheelchairs for those children who have their very own parade coming up next week.
We didn't know what it was when we started.
When finished, it's going to be a Paw Patrol hovercraft.
Can you grab me the duct tape?
A little tape and some hard work go a long way in making a wheelchair costume an unforgettable Halloween experience. This is the third year for the Halloween Heroes event at Mary Free Bed, and it keeps getting bigger, with 27 kids getting custom-made costumes this year.
It blows me away that people would sit here and take their time to make such an amazing costume.
Brandy's son Logan is 3 years old and is getting the royal treatment.
He's gonna be a king on the throne, on his own throne. So they got this big old box-like structure that's going to be a huge chair, and he's going to have a crown and a royal robe with gold embellishments.
And it's an exciting moment for the parents, too.
It's encouraging to us as parents because we don't get enough positivity in our lives. I think most of our lives are having to deal with very difficult things, and I got to look forward to this.
75 volunteers are letting their imaginations run wild to help create these fantastic costumes chosen by the kids.
We're trying to bring a costume to life from a cartoon character, from something they've seen on TV.
All out, whatever they want, no limits, we'll do it.
Everyone just happy to help out.
It's really cool to see the kids come in and just the excitement on their faces to get to actually have some cool costumes. We are building a windshield for a Paw Patrol fire engine.
And make this Halloween one to remember.
This is our Polar Express. We've got a light right here, a real bell that was made by Grand Valley engineering students out of a ceramic pot and a spoon.
And it's just awesome to give kids the costumes they've always wanted.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, how about that? That's some great stuff. Now, the big parade is Saturday, October 27th. It starts at 3 o'clock, and it's on Wealthy Street. Halloween Heroes can still use some volunteers. If you'd like to help, all you have to do is call Mary Free Bed for that information.
I'm sure they could. Those were extremely intricate.
I had no idea they were going to be that detailed, that extravagant. It's just simply amazing. They have engineers from the colleges coming over to help design, make sure these things are just
a real deal.
Way over the top.
That's great. And you know what? Those kids certainly deserve it.
They absolutely do.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that.
And just like that, Alex's treehouse is open. The little boy who's battling cystic fibrosis has a lot of imagination and dream big to make his wish a reality.
Like a really good spot for all of my family and my friends to just stay here and hang out.
Technically, it's more of a fort than a tree house, but it's as tall as most trees.
Really high.
You like it that way?
Yes.
There's 2 levels. It's got his name on it. There's even a slide. The main room also has a secret door.
It's a secret place where I can go to my secret room and go down the slide and all the way down.
Since Alex loves wrestling, his treehouse is decked out with WWE. Even the balcony rails look like wrestling ropes. And Alex didn't spend time on the sidelines. He actually helped build it.
I hammered, I did a lot of stuff.
Carpenters with Kent Companies did the heavy lifting and showed Alex how to measure twice and cut once.
He had his high vis and his hard hat on and all the stuff as he was going through it, so it was pretty fun for him, it looked like.
He was out here being, it was different than just presenting a treehouse to him. He got to be a part of the evolution of the entire treehouse from start to finish.
Make-A-Wish Michigan says that Alex is a kind-hearted kid who thinks beyond himself.
This is a cool, unique wish. Some of the beautiful things that he told us is that he wanted his family to be a part of this treehouse and to hang out with him.
Alex's treehouse is now ready to begin making a lifetime of memories.
Thank you to all the people that helped me make my wish come true. It really means a lot to me.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Michael Dupre. This is Fox 17 News at 11. Round 1 of the world's largest art competition is now in the books. Battle Creek police have released the name of the suspect in the sword stabbing attack that happened Friday morning. A driver cruising in the passing lane repeatedly slams on the brakes to get cars off his tail. Only this time it causes a major crash and he just drives away. There's a lot of questions surrounding what exactly constitutes a service animal. So today, a Pleasant Dog held a workshop in Grand Rapids to help people understand the facts. The pet store is calling foul play on that one, but I'm glad to see that the person who was putting that bird on layaway, something I've never really heard anything about. I didn't know you could even do that, but he must have really liked the bird a lot.
Yeah, well, he was wondering if you're going to bring that up. You know, as a Tiger fan, it's been a rough year for me, but I'm hopeful now that Les Miles is gone. You know, he was a great coach, but I think we need some newer offensive mindset in that game there.
Do you think he's gone for good? Because remember, they tried to fire him last year and then he came back.
I know the backlash was so severe. They're like, we got to keep the guy.